Hi everyone and welcome back. Thank you so much for coming on today and checking out this video on the new moon in Virgo happening on September 6th, 2021. I'm coming on today to tell you all about the intuitive messages, what to do, perhaps what not to do, depending on where you're at. And basically, I'm hoping to create a very relaxing, very soothing video for you all. So I hope you've got a wonderful coffee or tea to jump into this wonderful, wonderful moon cycle that we're going through. I think that we are about to really step into a much more healing vibe with this new moon coming out of the quite difficult month of August, which for a lot of people was a difficult moon cycle. All right. And we're going into a much healthier one here in September. So in this video, I'm going to try to really cultivate a nice healing space with some stream of consciousness intuitive messages. So I hope that you really enjoy it. Before we dive into the video, I want to give a huge thanks to Keen for sponsoring this video. With my link below, you can get your first 10 minutes with one of their mini specialists for only $1.99. They have all kinds of different people who you can choose from. They have a selection of tarot readers, astrologers, psychics, mediums, all different kinds. I think that the service is really great. I am not currently offering private readings myself, as I have been focusing on this channel and real life as well. So for those of you who are looking to get a private session, definitely go and check out Keen's database. And again, with my link below, which I will put in the top of the description box and as a pinned comment below, you can easily find someone to have a session with. Also, by using the link below and having a session with one of the people on Keen, you are also supporting this YouTube channel. So it's an affiliate link, of course, sponsored by Keen. And be sure to check it out if you get the chance. I think it's a fun service. So anyway, everyone, moving on, let's dive into this video. Let's talk about the new moon in Virgo happening on September 6th. So first of all, there is going to be a little bit of a different way that we are perceiving, all right? Things are going to start to get quicker. And I think that we're going to kind of boost and kind of go into hyperdrive, it feels like, when it comes to time management, when it comes to things that we have to get done. Again, Virgo is the natural 6th house in astrology, and this deals with time management. This deals with tasks, plans, goals, and routine. So the new moon is all about new emotional sequences. It's about new energy as well. So we should definitely expect with this new moon in Virgo on September 6th to have a new way in which we are accomplishing things in our lives, new versions of time management. It's great to start using a planner with this moon. It's great to really look at your schedule and see what might be time wasting, what might be great implementations into your life. Traditionally, one of the best things to do with the new moon in Virgo is to start a new exercise regimen, to start a new diet plan, to start a new routine with time management. So it's definitely really positive to look into those systems in your life and see if there might need to be some updates. Also, what I will say, we're going to talk about intuitive messages first of new moon in Virgo, and then we're going to talk about the surrounding astrology. This particular new moon in Virgo in 2021 is kind of hard to get expanded further than those things. What do I mean by this? So it feels that a lot of us are craving some type of like deep resolution in our lives. The other astrology transits that we've been having suggest a need for deep resolution, and that's probably not really going to be where it's at with this new moon. So I want to kind of let you know in advance that it's better almost to focus on smaller things, okay? Through all small things being focused on, the larger whole is becoming much more what we want. So a lot of us are thinking, what huge change can I make in my life? What drastic action can I take to resolve this? That's not going to be where it's at, and it's not going to be where it's at for a long time, okay? Where it's going to be at now is little stuff. You know, how am I feeding myself? How am I managing my time? How am I fitting into my clothing? Like these little things. And we've kind of been talking around this on this channel for a while. But I really will say that attention to detail, okay, is going to grow. We are going to feel revitalized through emotionally healing via attention to detail. So with that, I do think that we might see details with this new moon that we have not seen. We might see small things that we've not noticed before. For some people, we could be getting really keenly aware of small personality traits that we haven't recognized within ourselves before. Again, the moon, and particularly the new moon, both of these are about self-realization, about new relationship with the self being forged. And when that's in Virgo, these aren't huge revelations, okay? These aren't huge, seemingly, things, but it's a bunch of little sort of local things within the self that we can basically start to recognize. And through that recognition, you'd be very surprised about the larger, more wholesome change that can start to occur. And especially from now up until Scorpio season, we can be very drastically transformed people if that's what we feel that we need. Now, let me talk about another very important thing that I'm feeling with this new moon in Virgo, and that is we got to know what we want and what we don't want in our lives, because it could kind of be surprising to see that within the next few months, we've maybe labeled something in our lives as a problem when it's not. We've perhaps accepted something as a benevolence when it's not, stuff like that. So this is where this new moon in Virgo really shows us the small details that should let us really easily recognize what is a positive or negative in our lives, which to me feels like a godsend at this time. I think there's a lot of confusion, all right? We have a lot of retrogrades, and actually during the time that this new moon in Virgo hits, there's going to be like 6 retrogrades building up to 7, which is like a record. I mean, the rarity of having 7 retrogrades later in September. I talked about that in the September comprehensive astrology video. I'll link that below and in the top right-hand corner. We are going through trials for a lot of people. And for some people it's fun. For some people it's kind of like a time trial. You know, it's kind of like there's something sporty about it, though for others it's a bit of a tougher trial. And through this, we're going to really identify and recognize what we want in our life, what we don't want in our life. And we need to probably start following through on that quite soon, because one key that I am feeling is that we at least want to notate what is good or what we enjoy, what we don't enjoy, and be able to implement, I don't know, changes or implement certain things into our life that secure what we enjoy and relinquish what we don't. And this new moon in Virgo is perfect just for that identification, for that recognition of what those things are. Because I feel that a lot of people with this general time have a bit of a fogginess or a confusion about what they want as like a construct in their lives. And this new moon in Virgo should really start to clear that up. All right. What else do I want to talk about before we get into the astrology section of the video? Intuitively, I'm feeling that we have to kind of fall into a better relationship with acceptance, okay? Because I'm feeling that a lot of people are like signing themselves up for stuff, choosing stuff, and then right when that stuff is actually about to happen, they're second guessing it. There's a weird energy of second guessing very prevalent for people making decisions then second guessing them, people choosing to fix something in their lives or choosing to resolve something in their lives and then almost wishing they'd never even wishing that they'd just covered their eyes and not paid attention to it in the first place. I think that we have to really commend ourselves with this new moon in Virgo for the things that we've chosen to resolve. Just seeing that you wanted or attempted a resolution or attempted a solution to something is something that we almost have to cherish within ourselves, just as a sort of signpost within our path that says we're really getting somewhere, okay? If you were not getting somewhere, if you were not really elevating, you would not feel the need to resolve things like this. You would not feel the need to make these changes. You would not feel the need to be such an adequate strategist if this elevation were not happening. So for anyone who is really doubting themselves, really second guessing themselves, really feeling by the wayside of their own like security, know that that feeling is almost a symptom of some type of drastic elevation. And yes, within that, there is kind of a like, whoa, I'm becoming very visible. I'm becoming I don't know, seen by others or something. And because of that, I worry about all that attention. And that's where also this new moon in Virgo comes in, and it kind of really spreads things out. What do I mean by that? It's like, yeah, you can be very worried about yourself. You can be very focused on who you are and aspects of you, but then it's going to kind of put you maybe into a bigger world or into maybe scattered chaotic events just to see that like kind of no one cares at the same time. So we talked in the full Anoretic Moon in Aquarius video about narcissism and about self-obsession. And this new moon in Virgo is going to kind of touch on that as well, where it's like, okay, yes, we have to focus on ourselves. We have to focus on our own growth. We have to focus on what we do and don't need in our lives. However, with a limit, okay, with a limit, because we also are where we are for a reason. We have what we have for a reason. We need to see the outcomes of that and not try to go so crazy, like changing up our karmic experience just out of fear or just out of elevation's sake, because we are where we are for a reason. And there's going to be thousands of people maybe around you or hundreds of people around you, especially if you're dealing with like public events or if you're like, I don't know, in business or study programs or something. It's going to not feel so personal. Okay. We're in the very collective sign of Aquarius with Saturn, Jupiter, and the moon cycle as well, coming from that moon cycle. And that's going to kind of be like, wow, there's just so many different dialogues going on around me. People are so focused on other things. Nobody really cares about some of these things I'm so worried about. Okay. To a degree, I'm just another face in the crowd. That's actually a very healing way to work with this time as well. If you're feeling worried about scrutiny, feeling worried about, I don't know, embarrassment or something, it doesn't really feel like that's much of the situation right now. It's more like there's such a buzzing energy around that people also with the sort of collective narcissism right now don't really remember other people either. Like they don't really care. And this is not wholesome, okay? This is not everybody. But if you're worried about like the opinions of others, or if you're worried about, I don't know, just other people, I wouldn't really worry about that type of thing because it's not really memorable, or like people are so many people are so self-obsessed that if there is something that you're concerned about, they're just not going to care at the end of the day. Like, you know, we worry like, oh my gosh, I'm going to, I don't know, do something embarrassing in public. As many people are getting more public now, and we've been inside for so long. A lot of people feel like, oh my gosh, I'm like a caveman going back into the real world. And yeah, I feel that as well. And we got to kind of adjust back to being, for a lot of people in a public situation with this moon cycle. Virgo's nitpicky, right? It really sees all those details. And I just think it's a great solace for a lot of people to know that the societal self-obsession at hand will not even retain much of any, you know, issue that you're concerned about. So that seems like quite a superpower for a lot of people to know. Anything else I want to talk about with new moon in Virgo? It is really important to get health better. Okay. Always with all the earth new moons, you know, 3 times a year, new moon in Taurus, new moon in Capricorn, new moon in Virgo, they all deal with revitalizing your body, revitalizing your health, revitalizing your material situation as well. So for some people, that's new budgets. For some people, that's, changing jobs. For some people, that is taking on new jobs and things like that. So it's always good with new moon in Virgo to think about, like, what can my time really handle? Can I take on that other job? Can I really do that? Can I also make more at the current job? Can I make less and be fine and have more time for myself? New moon in Virgo is all about time. Okay, my time, how I spend my time, what I'm doing with my time, how I move through time as well, how quickly I'm moving through time, how fast is it moving, how slow is it moving. All of these are really good sort of dialogues to have with the self in order to become a better master of time. It's very good to think about. Anyway, everyone, let's talk about the astrology of this new moon in Virgo surrounding it. Okay, so as I'm looking at the chart, Mars opposite Neptune is happening, and this is starting this sort of ring of oppositions that we're having in the month of September, where we are a little bit tested and we are really facing ourselves or facing something. Mars opposite Neptune. Again, this is why I'm saying, like, the emotional game, the shadow work game, the game of illusions, game of like, how does that person feel about me? You know, what could happen in this situation? Like, am I going to, you know, be liked by these people? Like, this is very debilitated right now. Mars opposite Neptune is a debilitated transit. Any Mars-Neptune contact always can show like fear, paranoia, emotional unwellness. Yeah, so you have to understand that that might be with other people as well. So that's kind of why I think making a lot of friends right now, gaining new trust with people is probably not indicated. This is very much about, or people with like good levels of privacy, people with good levels of self-reliance, independence are the best suited for this transit, but it does pass quite quickly, you know, and again, definitely refer to the September comprehensive video to get more insight on that transit. It passes quickly, but during this new moon, it's still quite an effect. So being that it's happening at the same time as the new moon, again, this is going to be more small stuff that we need to look at. And that in and of itself can become a little bit of a emotional havoc as well when we get obsessed with small details. But better to be obsessed with small ones than to be obsessed with huge, unchangeable or uncontrollable events for sure. Okay. Also minor annoyances as well. Watch out for that. Watch out for temper. Watch out for any type of strong emotional reactions as well as bottling things up. So here is where we need to have a really good release process. We need to be able to release situations that we can't control. We need to be able to accept the situations that we're in. And on one hand, not outburst, and on the other hand, not bottle up if we can. All right. Another note that I'll talk about, let's see what other transits do I want to talk about. Jupiter retrograding really far back at the same time. And actually, interesting transits, very interesting transits, actually. Jupiter is getting further and further back in its retrograde cycle and getting closer and closer to going direct in October. But with as far retrograde back as it's getting at the same time as this new moon, you know, I just don't feel that it's a time to really push our luck with things. I don't feel that it's a time to take on more than we can handle. I think we have to be quite conservative with our energy. Okay, when I say that, I mean we got to be careful about spending too much energy. We got to be careful. We got to kind of conserve strength, conserve vitality, and spend as little energy as we can in experiences. So trying to just kind of like keep on keeping on is a great thing right now. Maintaining a safe, easy space and just kind of getting through this time is a lot of what the thriving people will be doing right now. On the positive side, let's talk about some of the positives of this astrology transit. Mercury and Venus have moved into Libra, so there's going to be this kind of like beautiful component to this time, like very aesthetically pleasing period of time. I think that some people's like diets and health regimens are really starting to show. You might also meet a very good person during this time, like having a lot of people come to bat for you as possible. For some people, they might even come into new relationships or come into new love in their life. That is possible. But it happens slowly, it seems. It's not something that's like really all-encompassing, but you can just kind of see that actually people are more behind you than you think, or that there is more kindness than you expected. And this, again, emphasizes the Mars-Neptune opposition, where a lot of us might be expecting cruelty. A lot of us might be expecting fear. A lot of us might be expecting horrific, fearsome experiences. And I feel, honestly, and this is a very great, great little snippet of information, I think that the universe really shows us our fear right now through pleasantly surprising us, okay? And through dropping us down into situations that we're like scared of, and then just being completely supported and it being easy and it being totally fine. And this has been happening for a long time. Like I've been feeling this since like 2018 and 2019, where people are like freaking themselves out about things, worried, afraid. And then they go through it and it's like fine, or they go through it and it's like not even a problem. And then it's like, oh my gosh, like what is this cycle of fear? And I would say that that's really trying to come to an end. And this new moon in Virgo is going to really expose a lot of the little points of our lives that are keeping this going, keeping this fear machine within the self going. And the Mercury and Venus in Libra, okay, along with all these other retrograde planets kind of stalling a greater momentum to some degree, they kind of show that we're actually like rewarded in some of these situations that we fear, or that we are appreciated or helped, or I don't know, there's some sort of small light within this darkness. And then we're kind of like, well, this ended up being a really beautiful, really wonderful thing for me. And I had a lot of fear over it. So we are very challenged right now to also be that, maybe for other people, being that light in a public place, being that support mechanism, being that light person. I think especially everyone here, you know, spiritual warrior type of people, we've got to really be this. We got to really be this Mercury, Venus, and Libra type of person. We got to really be balanced, all right? We got to really go into these situations without fear, without worry, without concern, knowing that our energetic vibrational elevation is going to really get us through, and then maybe also be helpful to other people. So I definitely would say that being helpful to others is very positive right now. Being solid in a certain place is very helpful right now. And that's really, I think, where a lot of us need to focus and allow healing to happen, okay? We got to kind of just go through experiences sometimes. We got to be there, and we got to not go into fear mechanisms before things happen, I think, is a big part of healing through this time. But anyway, everyone, overall, we are progressing through some type of energetically difficult experience, and we're coming out on the other side really throughout this new moon. So if you are having difficulties, like, try to accept it as some type of like karmic clearing experience, and try to allow your deepest wisdom to guide you and navigate you through this time in general. And once again, this video was sponsored by Keen, so be sure to check my link below to get your first 10 minutes for only $1.99 with some of their advisors over there. The service is very fun, and again, I'm not doing private readings right now, so it is an alternative if you guys have been looking for any type of session work. So again, that helps to support the channel as well. And I really appreciate anyone who has the opportunity to check that out. Anyway, everyone, have a wonderful experience of this transit. I'm rooting for you. Good luck. Nice, light, easy movement. Have a wonderful time. Talk to you soon. Bye.